What if I told you that right beneath your feet, entire civilizations have been living, working, and hiding for thousands of years? Cities so vast they could house tens of thousands of people, complete with churches, schools, and even wine cellars. Cities that most people walking above have no idea even exist. I'm talking about underground cities that make our modern subway systems look like child's play. We're talking about multi-level labyrinths that stretch for miles, carved entirely by hand, some dating back over 4,000 years. And here's the kicker. Archaeologists believe we've only discovered a fraction of what's actually down there. Today, we're going underground. We're going to explore the most incredible hidden cities that exist beneath our feet, cities that have sheltered entire populations during wars, persecution, and natural disasters. From the mind-boggling engineering of Turkey's Cappadocia region to the mysterious tunnels beneath major world capitals, we're about to uncover secrets that will completely change how you think about the ground you walk on. But first, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered what's really underneath major cities like London, Paris, or Rome? Because I guarantee you, it's not just sewers and subway tunnels down there. The truth is far more fascinating and, in some cases, far more unsettling than you might imagine. Let's start with what might be the most incredible underground city ever discovered. In 1963, a man in Cappadocia, Turkey, was renovating his house when he knocked down a basement wall and discovered something that would rewrite history books. Behind that wall was a tunnel, and that tunnel led to another tunnel, and another. What this man had accidentally stumbled upon was Derinkuyu, an underground city that extends 18 stories deep into the earth and could house up to 20,000 people. But here's what makes this discovery even more mind-blowing. Derinkuyu wasn't unique. It was just one of over 200 underground cities that have been found in the Cappadocia region, and archaeologists believe there are hundreds more waiting to be discovered. These weren't just simple cave systems. We're talking about sophisticated urban planning that would impress modern city designers. Derinkuyu had ventilation systems so advanced they could provide fresh air to every level. They had communication systems that allowed messages to be passed from the surface all the way down to the deepest levels. They had chapels, schools, stables for livestock, and even elaborate wine cellars. The engineering is absolutely mind-boggling when you consider this was all carved by hand using primitive tools. The city had rolling stone doors that could seal off sections in case of invasion, each weighing several tons, but designed so they could only be opened from the inside. They had trap doors and narrow passages that would force invaders into single file, making them easy targets for defenders. But who built these cities, and more importantly, why? The most widely accepted theory is that early Christians built and expanded these underground networks to hide from Roman persecution and later from Arab raids. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of these cities show signs of being much older, possibly dating back to the Hittites around 1400 BCE. This means people have been living underground in this region for potentially 3,400 years. Think about that for a moment. While ancient civilizations were building pyramids and temples reaching toward the sky, other civilizations were digging deep into the earth, creating entire worlds that the surface dwellers never knew existed. Now let's travel from Turkey to France, because beneath the streets of Paris lies another hidden world that most tourists never see. The Paris catacombs are famous, sure, but they're just the tip of the iceberg. Beneath Paris exists a vast network of tunnels, quarries, and chambers that spans over 200 miles. These tunnels were originally limestone quarries that provided the stone to build Paris itself. But over the centuries, they've been used for everything from mushroom farming to secret resistance meetings during World War II. During the war, the French resistance used these tunnels to move around the city undetected by Nazi forces. They set up command centers, weapons caches, and even underground hospitals. But here's what makes the Paris underground particularly fascinating. Parts of this network are still completely unexplored. Even today, there are sections that haven't been mapped, chambers that haven't been entered in decades. Urban explorers who venture into these forbidden areas sometimes discover rooms filled with artwork, underground lakes, or chambers that seem to serve no purpose anyone can determine. The official catacombs that tourists can visit contain the remains of over 6 million people, but that's just a small fraction of the underground network. There are estimates that the total underground area beneath Paris is larger than the city above ground. Imagine that. An entire shadow city beneath one of the world's most famous capitals. Speaking of shadow cities, let's talk about what lies beneath Rome. Rome has been continuously inhabited for over 2,700 years, which means the modern city sits on top of layer upon layer of ancient history. Every time construction workers dig in Rome, they're likely to hit archaeological remains, which is why major construction projects can take decades to complete. But beneath Rome's 7 hills lies something even more extensive than ancient ruins. There's an entire network of underground spaces that includes everything from early Christian catacombs to medieval tunnels to Renaissance-era passages. Some of these spaces are so vast they're essentially underground neighborhoods. The San Clemente Basilica is a perfect example of Rome's hidden layers. What appears to be a single church from street level is actually 3 churches built on top of each other over the course of nearly 2,000 years. The lowest level contains the remains of a Mithraic temple and residential buildings from the 1st century. The middle level is a 4th century church, and the top level is the current 12th century basilica. But this layered construction isn't unique to San Clemente. Archaeologists estimate that modern Rome sits anywhere from 15 to 60 feet above ancient Rome. This means there are entire streets, buildings, and neighborhoods preserved beneath the current city, frozen in time like an archaeological time capsule. Now, you might be thinking these underground cities are just ancient history, but you'd be wrong. People are still building and expanding underground cities today, and some of them are absolutely massive. Take Montreal, Canada, for example. Beneath the bustling streets of downtown Montreal lies Réseau, an underground network that spans over 20 miles and connects shopping centers, hotels, offices, universities, and even subway stations. During Montreal's harsh winters, people can live, work, and shop entirely underground without ever having to face the brutal cold above ground. But Réseau isn't just about convenience. It's a fully functioning underground city, complete with its own culture. There are restaurants that exist only in the underground network, art galleries, and even performance spaces. On any given day, over 500,000 people use this underground city, making it one of the largest underground networks in the world. Similarly, in Helsinki, Finland, the city has carved an extensive underground network from solid rock. This underground city includes everything from shopping centers and swimming pools to churches and data centers. The Templiokio Church, carved directly into solid rock, is one of the most visited tourist attractions in Finland. But Helsinki's underground network serves a more serious purpose too. Much of it was designed as nuclear shelters during the Cold War, capable of housing the entire population of the city in case of nuclear attack. Today, these spaces serve dual purposes, functioning as community centers and recreational facilities during peacetime, while remaining ready to serve as shelters if needed. This brings us to one of the most fascinating aspects of underground cities, their role in warfare and survival. Throughout history, when people faced existential threats, they've turned to the earth itself for protection. During World War II, entire communities lived underground to escape bombing raids. In London, thousands of people used the underground subway stations as air raid shelters, essentially creating temporary underground cities every night during the Blitz. Some stations were converted into full-time shelters with beds, medical facilities, and even libraries. But perhaps the most extensive wartime underground city was built by the British government itself. Deep beneath London, a massive network of tunnels and chambers was constructed to house government officials and military command centers. These facilities, known as the Churchill War Rooms, were so sophisticated they included everything from map rooms to dormitories to secure communication centers. What many people don't know is that similar facilities were built in other major cities around the world. Beneath Washington, D.C., Moscow, and other world capitals, extensive underground networks were constructed during the Cold War, designed to allow governments to continue functioning even in the event of nuclear war. Some of these facilities remain classified to this day, but what we do know suggests they're essentially underground cities designed to house thousands of people for extended periods. They have their own power generation, water supplies, and food storage. They're built to survive direct nuclear hits and remain operational for months or even years. But not all underground cities were built for war or defense. Some were built for far more mysterious reasons, and their purpose remains a puzzle to this day. Take the underground city of Nushabad in Iran, for example. This ancient underground network spans over 3 square miles and extends up to 3 stories deep. But unlike other underground cities we've discussed, Nushabad's original purpose is unclear. It was clearly designed to house people with residential areas, water storage, and ventilation systems, but there's no clear historical record of why it was built or who lived there. Some archaeologists believe it was a refuge for local populations during Mongol invasions. Others think it might have been a secret religious site. But the truth is, we simply don't know. The city exists, it's clearly ancient, and it was obviously used by a significant population, but its origins remain a mystery. This brings up an uncomfortable truth about underground cities. Despite all our archaeological advances, there are still vast underground networks around the world that we know virtually nothing about. In some cases, we know they exist but can't access them. In others, we suspect they exist but haven't found them yet. Take the legendary tunnel networks beneath major cities like New York or London. Urban legends speak of vast underground systems beyond the known subway tunnels and utility passages. Some of these stories are clearly fiction, but others have enough credible witness accounts to make you wonder what might really be down there. In New York, for example, there are documented tunnel systems beneath the city that aren't part of the subway system. Some were built as pneumatic postal systems in the early 1900s. Others were constructed as utility tunnels or steam pipe networks. But urban explorers who ventured into these spaces sometimes report finding chambers and passages that don't appear on any official city maps. Similarly, beneath London, there are tunnel networks that date back centuries, some of which were used for everything from smuggling to secret religious services. During World War II, many of these tunnels were pressed into service as air raid shelters or military facilities, but after the war, many were simply abandoned and sealed off. The question is, what's still down there? What secrets lie hidden in these forgotten underground spaces? This mystery becomes even more intriguing when we consider modern technology. Ground-penetrating radar and other advanced surveying techniques have revealed the existence of previously unknown underground structures beneath cities around the world. In some cases, these discoveries have led to amazing archaeological finds. In others, they've simply added to the mystery. For example, beneath the ancient city of Petra in Jordan, ground-penetrating radar has revealed the existence of a massive underground structure that appears to be larger than anything visible on the surface. Archaeologists know it's there, but they haven't been able to access it yet. What they'll find when they do remains one of archaeology's most tantalizing mysteries. Similarly, beneath Mexico City, radar surveys have detected what appear to be extensive underground chambers and tunnel networks. Some of these are clearly related to the ancient Aztec city of Tenochtitlan that once stood on the same site, but others appear to be unrelated to any known historical structures. The Mexican government has been reluctant to authorize extensive excavation in the dense urban environment, so these underground mysteries remain unsolved. But perhaps the most mind-bending aspect of underground cities is how they change our entire understanding of human history and capability. When we think about ancient civilizations, we usually focus on what they built above ground, the pyramids, the temples, the monuments. But these underground cities reveal that our ancestors were capable of engineering projects that rival anything we build today. Consider the precision required to excavate Derinkuyu, Without modern surveying equipment, ancient builders created a multi-level city with perfect ventilation, accurate water distribution, and structural integrity that has lasted thousands of years. They had to understand geology, hydrology, and structural engineering at a level that suggests ancient knowledge was far more sophisticated than we often assume. And here's what really keeps archaeologists up at night. If underground cities like Derinkuyu could remain completely hidden until 1963, what else is still out there waiting to be discovered? How many other underground civilizations have we walked over without ever knowing they exist? Recent discoveries suggest the answer might be more than we ever imagined. In just the past decade, new underground cities have been discovered in Turkey, Iran, China, and other locations around the world. Each discovery reveals networks that are larger and more sophisticated than expected. In 2013, construction workers in Turkey discovered what appears to be another massive underground city, potentially even larger than Derinkuyu. Initial surveys suggest this new discovery could house up to 65,000 people and may be connected to other underground cities in the region through tunnel networks. If confirmed, this would mean the underground city network in Cappadocia is even more extensive than previously believed. But here's what makes this discovery particularly exciting for archaeologists. Unlike Derinkuyu, which had been partially used for storage in recent centuries, this new underground city appears to have been completely sealed and forgotten. This means it could contain artifacts and evidence that provide unprecedented insights into how these underground communities actually lived. As we wrap up our journey through these hidden worlds beneath our feet, I want you to think about something. Every day, millions of people walk the streets of major cities around the world, completely unaware that beneath them lie entire civilizations. Cities within cities, worlds within worlds, histories that stretch back thousands of years. These underground cities represent something profound about human nature. When faced with threats, persecution, or simply the desire for security, humans have always found ways to create safe spaces. Sometimes that means building walls or fortresses, but sometimes it means going underground, creating entire hidden worlds that can shelter communities for generations. The next time you're walking through a major city, remember that beneath your feet might lie chambers that haven't been entered in centuries, tunnels that once sheltered thousands of people, and mysteries that could rewrite our understanding of history. The earth beneath us isn't just soil and rock. It's a repository of human stories, human ingenuity, and human survival. And who knows, maybe the next great underground city discovery is waiting right beneath where you're standing right now. The forgotten underground cities of our world remind us that there's always more to discover, always another layer to uncover, always another story waiting to be told. After all, we've only scratched the surface of what lies beneath our feet. The real question isn't what underground cities we've found. The real question is what underground worlds are still waiting for us to find them.